Hey guys, let's have a little chat. I feel like we all could use this reminder sometimes because look, life's hard and we have to go through these difficult things and it's difficult to sit and wait. I know for me, the most difficult part of life is having to sit and wait. It's having to start all over when I didn't press that reset button. So when either life or a person dictates where I'm at to some extent, meaning I have to start over or I didn't get that job opportunity or this didn't happen for me, and I feel like I don't have control because I didn't ask for these things, then it can be extremely frustrating. But I can tell you that looking back now, every single thing that I've ever really wanted and really wanted to manifest, the moment I started getting so frustrated or consumed with control that I tried to force it to happen, it always ended up blowing up in my face. If I tried to force it or rush it, then I ended up actually feeling more disappointed rather than me learning how to just sit and wait. I made the situation so much worse because I was fighting against what life was trying to do for me, which is align me where I should be and wait and work on myself or whatever the lessons were that I was supposed to be learning. And instead of just saying, you know what, I don't want to do any of that, I'm just going to force this to happen. First off, I never ended up getting what I wanted. I always went through so much more pain than just sitting and waiting. What I now know is me fighting against the waiting period, I ended up suffering way more than if I would have just stayed and kind of chilled for a minute. That's really where I suffered. I didn't suffer in the waiting. I suffered the hardest with trying to force something and then ended up getting so extremely disappointed because that wasn't the thing that was actually meant for me. See, I didn't realize that life was actually trying to work out for me. I was just so in a place of wanting to control life that I thought this is going to be the relationship and this is going to be the job and this and this and this, rather than being, I don't want to just say patient, but like really wholeheartedly working on myself, learning the things that I should have been learning. But you know what, too? I don't think that all of us during certain points of our life realize the lessons that we're supposed to be learning. We sometimes have to go through this suffering, this extreme pain in order for us to kind of like wake up and go, okay, this actually needs to change. I need to be doing something different now. The hardest part for me was accepting that this just wasn't my time. It wasn't my time to have the thing that I really wanted. Because think about it, when we want something, that's usually 10 steps ahead. We're just not ready. And that's something that we always fight. We think we're ready. We think we're so open, but we're really not. We're wounded, we're closed off, we haven't grown yet, we haven't learned the lesson yet. We probably wouldn't even really value the thing that we say that we actually want. We probably would have looked at it as a burden rather than something that we can actually handle. And the part that I think really stinks is if you were to watch this video in the midst of going through something and you're kind of like in this like waiting limbo period, you may not even know, well, what is the lesson that I should be learning? And this is where the time will start to really show you what the lessons are. But sometimes the lesson isn't as obvious as we would want it to be. The other issue for me that really just kind of like tripped me up when I was any time in life that I'm in a period of having to wait is comparison. Comparison of me with another person, comparison of where I want to be and I'm just not there yet, where I thought I was going to be, and then like making myself feel bad about that. So either I was fighting this ego game with like, well, look at her, like she gets to get married and she gets to do this and he has this and all of those things where that's their journey and this is my journey. And that was something that really caused so much suffering and contributed to me forcing things because I felt bad about myself. I felt bad that I wasn't where I wanted to be, but this person was. I felt like I was getting cheated. And because I had that kind of mentality, I tried to control situations. And of course, that only made everything worse. Wouldn't it be great if we could just all kind of take out the crystal ball and see what life has in store for us and then feel like, okay, I feel relaxed now. I feel calm because I know for sure that this is going to happen. Well, that's not really how trust and faith actually works. It's believing without seeing. That's where your real power comes into play because you're never going to be able to see. You're never going to have that crystal ball. This is where you're learning how to tap into your self-worth, your trust, and your faith that, hey, life actually has my back. I have my back. I'm going to get these things. I deserve these things. Why wouldn't life be fair to me? Why would I be the only one that has to suffer? This is really where the power comes into play. This is where you start learning the skills. This is the growth that you're always hearing about. Well, I need to grow. I need to grow. you need to grow in certain areas. Maybe it's faith, maybe it's trust, maybe it's self-worth, to believe that you deserve, to believe that it is coming. Not even believe, just know that it is coming. It's just a matter of when. When I learned all of this, I'm not saying it made the situation any easier, because even now when I'm looking to manifest something or I want something in my life and I'm really working towards it, I'm human. So we're all gonna fight against the waiting period. No one likes to wait. We'll never like to wait. But I think it does put things in perspective, and it does help you to like slow down, take a step back, and understand, okay, what do I really need to do to refocus so I don't suffer? That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to avoid suffering. We're also trying to avoid forcing things to happen that just should not be happening, because I hate to say it, everything that has ever manifested for me, first off, it ended up being way better than I really ever thought it could be. This really helped me to stop struggling, because I realized I do have control over one thing, and that's if. Is this going to actually happen? That was the thing that I really could control, but I just couldn't control when. And I didn't need to control the when, because see, the thing is, when we want something, we put so much emphasis on it. And if you're putting so much emphasis that you need the relationship, you need the job, you need the house, you need this thing in order to feel happy, most people realize that that's ridiculous and that's actually not true. They realize really quickly that, yeah, I don't need this thing in order to be happy. Would I like it? Absolutely. But I really don't need it in order to feel good inside. I really don't need it in order to smile and laugh and have a great day. So they stop putting so much emphasis on needing this thing in order to be okay. Just that right there, you just learned a really important skill. You started learning the skill of fighting off the negative thoughts that are wanting to take you down a rabbit hole, or make you fear that something could happen, or make you feel like you need to be doing way more than you should be, instead of just relaxing and letting it actually just come to you. And really, that is all about manifestation. Every single time I ever wanted anything, first off, if I really got focused on the specifics of what it is that I wanted, meaning I wasn't just asking for a relationship or just asking for a house, I was very, very specific. Even the home that I live in today, this home, the layout of this home is exactly the layout that I wanted. I had it on not my vision board, because it was actually on a big piece of paper, but I remember looking at floor plans because I was thinking of possibly even building this house. And the floor plan that I looked at online that I really wanted was this house. Even the yard, everything in the yard is exactly the way I wanted it, down to the patio. I mean, it was actually really eerie, and I didn't even realize it until after I bought the house and I moved in, where I was like, oh my God, this was actually the house that I really wanted. And when I looked at the floor plan, it freaked me out, actually. Same thing with the relationship, same thing with the career. Everything that I ever wanted, I was very detailed about. And everything that I ever wanted, I waited a while to get. Now, I'm not saying you have to wait 10 years or, however long, but I did wait a really long time to have all of these things. And guess what? It doesn't really matter. I don't look back on my life and go, oh, my life was so awful because I waited 4 years in order to find that person. Or my life was so horrible because I waited 3 years of working really hard to save enough money, to have the down payment, to have the house that I really wanted. Or, oh God, I waited, I think it was probably, 5 or 6 years before I had my business, where I didn't even know what I even wanted to do. I just knew how I wanted to feel, and I knew that I wanted to help people. Had absolutely no idea what that was actually going to entail. And all three of those things happened very effortlessly. I didn't really try hard at all. It just worked out very easily. So now you can see that the lesson in all of this was me just relaxing. Yes, it was me working hard, and yes, it was me trusting and believing, and yes, it was me knowing that it was coming, because if I really didn't have those things, then I would have ended up settling. And that's where, when you trust and believe and you know something's going to happen, it doesn't really matter how long it takes. You're willing to wait to have the things that you actually want. The only way you can have that ability inside of you is when you really start working on your self-worth. Also, when you start working on your need for something. So whether or not I got this house or this relationship in 2 years or in 6 months, it wasn't going to, yes, it was going to make me extremely happy and I was going to be grateful and all of those things, but I didn't need it in my life in order to still have a really great life. So I didn't put so much emphasis and weight on those things where I desperately needed them, because then if you desperately need it, you are always going to fold and to take less than what you deserve because you need it. It's like air. Now let's look at all of that. All of that is you learning how to mentally and emotionally take care of yourself. You will have to learn how to parent yourself. You will have to learn how to be more mindful and dictate where your thoughts go, because your thoughts are just going to default to all of the disappointment that you have felt, all of the times that you were let down, all of the times that someone hurt you, and all of those things that you went through was not life saying, oh, you don't deserve this. It was life saying, hey, you actually deserve better. Like, think about it. Every single time you didn't get something that you wanted, didn't you end up getting something better than you ever thought you could have? Now, look, I'm not trying to sugarcoat waiting as it's so fun. No, it'll never be fun. It sucks. None of us want to go through it. And I know it's even harder to wait when you have felt disappointment, when you have had letdowns, when something maybe didn't happen as quickly as you wanted to, and you also didn't have that strength, that self-worth behind you to kind of like keep pushing you forward. Annie's in the corner over there walking around. I'm gonna tell you, thinking worst case scenarios, letting your mind be consumed with all the fears and worries and anxieties, that is not going to help. You forcing something to happen that you know shouldn't happen when you really should be letting go and sitting in more trust and faith and believe, not only in life, but also with yourself. That's what I want you to take away from this. Because look, we've all faced disappointments. We've all been let down. We've all been hurt. We are no different. It doesn't matter your circumstance or the exact story. The feeling is still there. We've been let down. We've been hurt. We've been disappointed. We have felt like at times, I'm frustrated. I don't know why this isn't happening yet. I'm trying really hard. I'm doing all the things. And there's still that part of us that really wants this to happen, and we're slowly starting to doubt the process. This is when you need videos like this as those reminders to remind yourself of, okay, what are the things that I know I need to start working on? All right, wait, I need to refocus here. Like, I've been getting so consumed with all this fear and all this worry, and it kind of gives you like this like calming space to be in where you can like listen to the reminder and remember really what it's going to take to actually get there, and that it's actually possible, and that it is going to happen. Sometimes you just need to hear that it is going to happen in order for you to remember that, yeah, it actually is. And then you can start slowing down and like enjoying your day and not getting so consumed with all these things that you want for yourself, and understanding that, look, this is life and it's never ever going to be a race. That right there, you are legit learning the most simplistic things that you absolutely need to learn in order to have the things that you say you want to have, which is, let me live in peace. Let me be content and happy. Let me feel fulfilled regardless of what I have or what I don't have or what's happened to me. That kind of like inner work that you're doing right now, that will allow you to be the person that can handle everything that you really do say that you want. And I know even that I didn't always enjoy hearing. I'm like, what do you mean? So I'm not ready? I'm not ready for a great relationship? And I actually wasn't. I didn't have the time. I probably would have just like wrote the person off. I probably would have looked at our situation as a burden and not a blessing. There are so many things that I realize now, like I wasn't ready for it. Even with my business, I wasn't ready to be able to do this because unfortunately I hadn't gone through all of the pain of my divorce. I hadn't really gone through all the pain of my own self and like learning how to overcome some of these things so I can help you guys with it as well and reinforce it for myself as well, because I am still human. You guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I hope it gave you some like inspiration, motivation, and it definitely just encouraged you to don't force it. Just sit and wait. It's just not your time yet, but that doesn't mean that it is not going to happen. And you know what? If it's not your time yet, do me a favor, enjoy this time of your life. Like, yes, we want the things that we want, but all the things that you do want in your life, there are pros and cons to them, and you know that. So let's just enjoy the fact that we don't have to deal with any of the cons yet, and let's just make sure that we stay present, we enjoy our lives, and expect that good things are gonna happen. So you guys, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to subscribe, like, follow, share, all the things. You can find me down below, TikTok, IG, everything, Facebook, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, guys.